and also to be creative, you know. Right. But praise Allah for our ability to do that as human beings on this plane of manifest. I am forever grateful for the opportunity to create my life and to tell my story and to be the author of the story. And I want to invite everyone to think of their life in that way. Yes, ma'am. To think of themselves as an author. That's right. As an author. That's right. I think most of us, if not all of us in the world, love stories. We love to hear stories. We do. No matter how it's being told to us, verbally, orally, visually, through movies. Right. You know, there's so many ways to tell stories. Written word while we're reading. All the different ways in which we're told stories. No matter which way, we enjoy it. We enjoy the story. That's right. And I think what's interesting is that, you know, when we're watching or listening to a story or reading a story, one of the fascinating parts is not knowing what's going to happen. Right? I think if we can anticipate the ending or something that's going to happen, we don't feel as satisfied with it because we're like, oh, that was predictable. That, you know, that was cliche or, you know. And so we need to feel that way about our lives too, I think. You know, when we have unpredictability happen or something unexpected, we should embrace that, you know. And I think that's part of the excitement of life that I think, you know, gets kind of a bad rap or, you know, people feel some type of way about it that's not so positive. But I think that, you know, we don't know what is to come. We don't know what is to come. And our power is in creating what can come, but we still won't know how it's going to get there. We won't know all the details. And that's part of, I think, the exploration and the beauty of life as well, that mystery and that suspense. So praise Allah and embracing all that we have and all that we experience. That's right. We got to stay grateful for everything that we receive. We do. Praise Allah. Praise Allah. That just came, you know, and praise Allah for that as well. Wisdom. What I think I thought about talking about was this idea again about freedom. Okay. Our fourth principle, love, truth, peace, freedom. Yes. Good man. And just really trying to wrap my head around that because for a long time when the School Freedom Preparatory Academy came about, I was thinking about, okay, so we're equating education with freedom. Yes. What does it really mean to be free? And even before that, you know, we talk about how we are the land of the free in the United States, or, you know, Martin Luther King says, free at last, free at last. And I'm like, what does that really mean? What does that really mean? Like, what are we really trying to do when we say freedom? And I think, you know, a lot of times we make it synonymous with doing whatever it is you want to do, right? Freedom is the ability to do whatever. That's how I think we have defined it, and that's how we kind of use it. But I think it's so much deeper than that, and we know that it's so much more than that. And I think even within restriction, you can find freedom. And so that's how I'm like, okay, I don't know if I have completely come to terms with what freedom is. And so, you know, we talk about free will, we talk about having options to be able to choose, and, you know, particularly in the United States where, you know, capitalism promotes the idea of having options. You want to have options, you want to have competition, you want to be able to go to this store, and if this store doesn't have the price that you like, you can go over here to this store. And that's kind of promoting the idea of options, but is that really freedom? Like, is that the kind of freedom we're looking for? You know, or is that kind of a cheap freedom? And it's not very deep or fulfilling to the spirit. So, you know, I just really want to dive into that idea of what freedom is. And I think there's some responsibility on me with the students that I work with to explore that with them, and not coming in knowing, you know, and just kind of exploring that with them. So I'm excited to see where that takes me. I'm a little nervous and concerned as well, but I want to really dive into this idea of what freedom is, and it's one of the highest principles known to man. Yes, it is. And we and we hear all these mantras, you know, like I'm thinking right now, I hear in my head, give me liberty or give me death, right? And that's pretty extreme. But why is it that he's willing to lay his life down for liberty, for freedom, you know, and what is that about? And there is a pursuit and a desire for freedom, but why is that? I am very curious to know more about freedom, as all the principles, but for right now, I think freedom is on my mind because we use that so often. We also use love often, and we know that we have some books that we've been reading about that. We have some books about you know, love and trying to unpack that, which we know it's going to take a while to just keep on going through that to understand it. But freedom for me would be my next one that I would be interested in exploring. So praise Allah for all that I've been receiving. Recently, for January 8th, I received a book from the brother Prophet Bay as a gift, as a woman thinketh, and in that book is exactly as the prophet is talking about with thoughts and how thinking really does impact your circumstances, and how thinking can, you know, then they talk about the high and the low pretty much, in saying that, you know, whatever you think, that's what your circumstance is going to bring you. Right. If it's a good circumstance, that's what it's going to bring you. If it's not a good circumstance, that's what it's going to bring you. And talking about also, you might think you're one place in terms of your thinking, but when your circumstances show you something else, it's like, that's what's really deep within you, right? And so you really have to come to grips with really what you think about yourself, right? And so really unpacking and uncovering, or, you know, pulling back the layers that we kind of, you know, try to put on the stencil coats and make it seem like one thing, but what is it really? And so that comes back to this awareness and that being honest, right? And admitting certain things. And so sincerity was a part of the book as well. Great book. You know, I'm like, this is the prophet's lessons right here in another form. And it was in a simple, it looked like a small pamphlet as well. And it was talking about thinking. So praise Allah for the information that I'm receiving, that I will then apply to hopefully become a better human being, and to really reside within my higher self. I just think what was really interesting, because reading the law about being faithful, and I read it most recently in the book, talking about the woman who is calm and consistent in their temperament will be the best businesswoman, the best mother, the best everything, because you're relied upon, because you are reliable in the sense that you're consistent. So people know what they're going to get when they come to you, and that's appealing. That's appealing, and that's why you become faithful or reliable. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense. You know, someone who can not kind of come out of themselves and become different things, and I think that's why it's important for adults to be that consistent, particularly for students. Now I'm thinking about students, and being that consistent person that no matter where they go, you know, in terms of their emotions, that you're like that steady rock that they can rely on, that person that they can come back to and know that they're going to get that love and that unconditional love from them. That's right. So just reading that, it gave me more insight into this idea of reliability and being faithful, right? It's not only being of your word, but it's also in your actions and in your deeds that you are consistently what you say you're going to be, or you are consistently really love. That's kind of what he was, I think, alluding to. A loving being that is going to always do what is fair and what is just. That's right. So praise Allah. Praise Allah for all the insights that I was given through reading the book, and how much it connected with the teachings. There's no conflict there. There's no division. Truth is but one. Right. And, you know, as we talk about, the brother always said it can come in different containers, but we know it's still water. Just like it can come in different books with a few different words, but it's still truth. Right. And praise Allah that I'm able to recognize it as that, and it enhance what I'm already learning. So It's always a gift. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
I'm going to take you to the Holy Quran of the Most High of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet, Ali, by the guiding of his father, God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from the sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his father, God Allah. I'm trying to be high, Moors.
That's right.
I'm putting it all together. We're trying to be high. Get it up high.
Right.
We talk about high vibrations. We talk about our higher self, and you know that's what we're trying to journey on to. Journey there, and it is a journey. Sure is a journey. Okay. Well, let's go to page 39, chapter XXX. That's 30. Okay. That's not 33. That's 30. Okay. Holy instructions from the prophet, the social duties. Well, I'll read until I think I need to stop. When thou considerest thy wants, when thou beholdest thy imperfections, acknowledge his goodness, O son of humanity, who honor thee with humanity, endow thee with speech, and place thee in society to receive and confer reciprocal helps and mutual obligations, protection from injuries, thy enjoyments of the comforts and the pleasures of life. All these thou owest to the assistance of others, and couldst not enjoy but in the bands of society. It is thy duty, therefore, to be a friend to mankind, as it is thy interest that man should be friendly to thee. As the rose breatheth sweetness from its own nature, so the heart of a benevolent man produces good works. He enjoyeth the ease and tranquility of his own breast, and rejoiceth in the happiness and prosperity of his neighborhood. He openeth not his ear unto slander. The faults and the failings of men give a pain to his heart. His desire is to do good, and he researcheth out the occasions thereof. In removing the oppression of another, he relieveth himself. From the largeness of his mind, he comprehendeth in his wishes the happiness of all men, and from the generosity of his heart, he endeavoreth to promote it.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
That's the end of it. Praise the Lord. Praise Allah for lessons of the social duties. I am a big proponent of community, and like I said before, as I feel inspired by my brother Watson Neal, who says that I need to keep that thought on creating a community of Moors.
Yeah.
And I'm adamant about that. I really would love to have a real community in which I feel safe and comfortable knocking on my neighbor's door and saying Islam, and holding a conversation, and them feeling comfortable doing the same for me. It reminds me of being in college and how in the dormitories we would be able to do that. We knock on people's doors and we would all go into different people's rooms and talk, and we were of like-minded. We came from different backgrounds, but we all, I guess, had a interest in learning and talking and exploring ideas. And I would love to have that on a day-to-day basis with my fellow man, Moorish community. I'd love to see that happen, along with schools that are run by Moors, and just creating a society in which we are the authors of our life, and we can really see that authorship playing out and manifesting as a community in addition to our own individual lives. So praise Allah for the thought that came to me, and hopefully our community will grow and we'll be able to establish that which we once did before. We can do it again. So praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
So with that, I'm going to go ahead and call up our first speaker of the night. That's right, my cameraman back here, praise Allah. Go ahead and call up Brother Watson Neal. I'm sorry, Warren Neal. W is messing me up. Please give me undivided attention as you've given me.